Good morning, everyone. Beautiful existence here at Volunteer Park in Seattle, Washington. I'm going to talk about October omens and want to capture this absolutely gorgeous specimen, this tree person in front of me, being one of the oldest parks or established parks in the Seattle area. This tree person has a lot of beautiful knowledge and is appropriately holding the way for many through these corridors. Has beautiful mushroom persons, fern, spirit all over it. Its own ecosystem, as we all are. So, October omens. Heading into fall season has many knowledges through many histories in various ways. And you will see this in my upcoming book, As the Universe, So the Soul, Everyday Omens and What They Mean. And we'll give a little snippet of this month's omens from the book because there's a lot. Every month, sometimes even every day of a month, there are known attributes within nature, within the celestials, within many different energetic and frequencies and beingness. And October is one of them. So I guess we should start with today, because today is Sunday, the Sun's Day. So it's appropriate that it's sunny here in Seattle, which is not always the case. Um, but like I said, many of the months have specific days that are attributed to them throughout various religions. And there is definitely that golden thread that has been handed down since omens are the poetics of history. These common knowledges that humanity has had, being much more in tune with nature and the different beings in our world. Um, notes, my notes, because I have hundreds of pages of this golden thread and the poetry of many, many civilizations. So today, September 29th, on the cusp of October, it is known as actually Michaelmas, St. Michael's Day in one religious theology and community. And St. Michael is one of the angelic saints, and Michaelmas, or like Christmas, is Michael and Mass. So that's why it's also been referred to as Michaelmas. But in France, September 29th's omen is, quote, when the wind is from the north on St. Michael's Day, October will be dry. So paying attention today to see if the wind is coming in from the north, watching the tree leaves and branches, And it seems like maybe it's coming in from the north. It seems a little northeast actually right now. So I'll have to look up northeast winds. But this omen has been carried down from multiple generations about St. Michael's Day. So once you understand more of these everyday omens and you have the guidebook to help you understand and be in practice of it, you can observe against nature, against the celestials, against animals and tree persons and human persons to see how much of it rings true in your life. And sometimes it's definitely according to, the area and the region. But before there were the masses that could read and write, they provided poetic inspiration for what you could foretell, what you could be prepared for, and what you could observe or understand about the energies around you if you found yourself in the middle of it. Look at these beautiful, beautiful tree persons. Very, very grateful to have many ancient tree persons still in this area, providing their wisdom and guidance and insight. This being another one. This park is full of them. That's why I love coming here and connecting to plant spirit, beautiful, organically grown plant spirit here in Washington from a brand called Falcana. Female identifying ownership, a falconress. Very much the Nine of Coins, that one. And producing beautiful, beautiful plant spirit here in the state of Washington. So if you're ever in this area, I highly recommend Falcana. And mixing it with a little of my wonderful Virginia blonde, organically grown blend in connection, clearing practice. As you can hear, we're directly under a flight path in Seattle going into SeaTac. So there's lots of air energy in this path right now as well. Good for connecting. To all realms and beingness. Lots of mushroom people here. Look at this huge holly. Absolutely massive grow. Holly family in there. Collective becoming one. So now that we know today's omen, let's get into a little bit of the October. For some reason, the word February just came up. So that must mean something to somebody and or myself. Again, notes. Because this is very much my upcoming book coming out in November, which is on pre-order on Amazon right now, by the way, will help extend your astrological practice and knowledge, help extend your divination practice and knowledge, integrating our past and our foundation within those wisdoms. And this first volume is filled with pages of these omens. So as the fall leaves fall around me, give you a little snippet of some of the different areas of October's omens that you can look forward to in the book. So let's start with flowers, because yes, flowers have, and flower people and different energetic elements of nature very much have their own specific timing within this mechanism of materiality, material reality. So, a flower omen for October is the last flowers bloom until the feast of St. Jude. So, in this respect, and all of the more floral fall flowering is happening right now, a lot of the deep burgundies, the oranges, the yellows, the reds, not just within the leaves, but within the flower patterns and the colors right now as well. So, one of the things that you can look forward to in October is the common omen knowledge that these flowers for the fall will usually bloom until St. Jude's Day, until the Feast of St. Jude. I apologize. So, intercultural religious context there, but interesting observation of the more specific natural elements of omens that correlate with timing every year. Now, of course, this can be regional, as most energies are to our being, or what many kind of map and track through astrocartography. But interesting, the correlation, the multi-dimensions, the omnidimensionality of omens within that first snippet of omen knowledge. And yes, there are trees and there are all sorts of different correlations for this time period. But again, it's regionally, because will all flowering plants participate in this October blooming up to the Feast of St. Jude? Maybe, not necessarily. Not necessarily in different climates, different hemispheres. But this book has many cultures, including South Pacific, Aboriginal, Indigenous persons from the South Pacific, the South Asiatic regions, and cultures and histories. So, even if you're in those hemispheres or amongst those particular cultures and histories, there is going to be something for you as well in this book. Tried to and have successfully made this very omnidimensional in the cross-referencing. Very extensive index for sure in this book, but that's because there's just thousands of years of omens in it. So, October. Let's talk about a couple of the different similar hemispheres and regions, but different countries, different cultures. One of the quotes about October, one of the omens I would say about October is if there is much frost and snow in October, it'll indicate a mild winter. And that comes from Germany. From Germany also comes the omen that if October is warm and fine, a sharp winter will follow. So already October is showing itself as this veil, you know, gradient between the seasons, as many of us know that it is. But via omens, weather omens, it very much is resonated for people in particular hemispheres that if the weather in a month is a particular way, it's actually indicating the opposite of what it will be during the upcoming time frame. And so let's see what another country in the same hemisphere says about October, knowing, this about weather. It says, St. Teresa's summer is commonly known in Italy as the warm days in the middle of October. So the warm days in the middle of October actually have their own omen and affiliation through a region, through a culture, through a theology of St. Teresa's summer. So there are a lot of different ways that people, for many civilizations and cultures and histories, have seen October already. And I have more, but I want to make sure that I'm also connecting, remaining open for what needs to come through. That heat. It's been a minute. They're doing some filming here. It's a very good time, very good place to do some filming around Seattle. For those that are entering Volunteer Park in Seattle, look at some of these beautiful tree people. That fall crisp sun coming through. This is what I'm surrounded by and absolutely blessed with. So let's see a couple more. So this omen, again from around the same hemisphere, is speaking to the dimensionality of an omen regarding time, October, the month of October, weather, and nature. So when you get into or supplement your practices and knowledge of astrology, divination, your alternative abilities, which are all of the clairs, all the mancies, all the pathies, divinations, synchronicities, all the ineffable dimensions of our being that we're connected to inherently when we come in as children and animals depict as our plant and tree person spirits help us bridge to and remember. Omens show this thread not only between histories and cultures and poetic and languages and poetics, but also to the different dimensions of energetic frequency and materiality, as this omen for October will show. It says, if foxes bark in October, they are calling up a great fall of snow. And that's from Luxembourg. So, even then, animals interacting with time periods and seasons and conjuring particular weather omens. I don't see too many foxes around here. In fact, I can't really remember when I have seen a fox in Washington, but I've definitely come across fox energy. I had a beautiful fox show itself to me at the Cape of Massachusetts, Cape Cod, outside of P-Town, the province town, a couple years ago. Absolutely just beautiful, majestic creature. But apparently, they can evoke magic too, and weather. So good for them. Good for them. If you're wondering how you can find more about October omens, the upcoming book coming out, my upcoming book this November coming out, As the Universe So the Soul, Everyday Omens and What They Mean, will help you with all of these multi, omnidimensional forecasting or affirming knowledges. Okay, so like I had mentioned at the beginning of this live, the month of October has many omens for it. And these are the ones that I'm mentioning here today, are just a couple that you'll find in my first omen guidebook. But like I had mentioned, there are omens for almost every single day in all of the months. In fact, some of the months are literally almost every single day there's an omen, which is amazing to not only remember but be in practice of. Puts a whole new context and perspective into many. Okay. I'm back. Technology. That's why I'm doing my doctorate in compassionate technology. Sometimes it works. Unfortunately, it seems like in over 20 years of tech career, there's still some areas that we need to work on, especially when it's related to our human needs and the needs of technology to help evolve us or help us instead of giving us something else yet to purchase. Anyways, enough of that. Let's go back to specific days in October that are omens and what they have meant for other areas of our world and other people. October 4th, coming up here in the next week, is St. Francis of Assisi's Day. And like I said, my Omen guidebook, As the Universe, So the Soul, Everyday Omens and What They Mean, cross-references multiple religious theologies, cultures, histories, peoples. So when I mention saints, it's not the only culture and history or religious theology that's in this book. Very much keeping in tune with the poetics of history that omens are. But for this instance, these are two of the more specific October omen days that I wrote down to talk to you about today. So this omen says, sow on St. Francis Day, and your grain will be heavy. And this is from France. And that again is for October 4th. 2 days later is St. Bruno's Day. And October 6th omen is wheat sown on St. Bruno's Day turns black. And those are both from France. So interesting observation, and just how dimensional the approach of omens is, the understanding of omens are, and the practice of them, let alone the deep interlaced life of our ancestors with nature. They not only cultivated, curated, harvested, enjoyed, and participated in the cycles with nature intimately, acutely, but they also knew this dimensionality. They lived within this omnidimensionality all the time. Because within 2 days' time in October, at the beginning of October, you went from an omen of that a particular yield that you need to sow, your grain on a particular day. And doing so would indicate that your grain was heavy, it was robust, it was flavorful, it was fruitful, it was abundant, it was plentiful. You were going to be okay. You were going to have plenty. You would be able to, have a very rooted, very heavy, meal and sustenance for yourself and your loved ones and others, right? Or to sell or to barter. And within 2 days' time, if you tried to sow your wheat on the 6th, it would turn black. It would rot. It would not be abundant or fruitful. And that in and of itself says a whole lot. That within just a mere 24 to 48 hours, your timing of whether or not you were abundant and fruitful, or whether or not you were destitute, possibly, or starving, or, completely void of that harvest, it all turning black within 2 days of this month of October. So October omens hold a lot for us. There, like I said, there's many, many more omens in this about October than what I've just shared today in this brief live, that you can look forward to in my Omen guidebook. In this first Omen guidebook, As the Universe, So the Soul, Everyday Omens and What They Mean. And just like we have referenced, or I have referenced, flowers about October and what to look for or what to affirm. days in October and what they forecast from day to day. What animals interacting with this time period. Again, usually hemisphere specific, arid climate specific, the areas, particular climate. And even with the month overall, kind of meant for people. And looking for those tidbits of knowledge that we've shared amongst each other for a very, very, very long time, just like I'm doing here, and calling back our ancient knowledges so that we can securely ground ourselves in this material reality and what our species has known and written about and orated and passed down for thousands and thousands of years to each other, to our offspring, to our future, what those perpetuated knowledges of this material reality have shown us. And these ones are just a few from the month of October. The sounds here makes me think that I should, and already am, doing a omnidimensional ASMR. Pipe, gravel, running, animals, birds, airplanes, all sorts of different dimensions of beingness and energy. Sun rays, tree people. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing these October omens with me, and for considering expanding your alternative abilities like I have been doing now for many years, and seeing the fruitful blossoming of my own dimensionality of this material personages, heteronyms, many heteronyms, dimensional realities, and being grounded in them and expanding them through omens, bringing back our ancestral knowledges so that we are firm in the foundation of how we're moving forward. And we remember and honor all of the wisdom, all of the learned experience and knowledge that our ancestors have held in multiple iterations through the poetics of history and omens. I'm going to go enjoy this fall day. Thank you for being here.